Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the showdown between the Empire led by Volkmar the Grim and the High Elves who are going to be led by Teclis. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So in the front line, I do have a couple groups of greatswords. I think in total I do have three, so let's go ahead and check. 1, 2, 3. And as you guys can see, greatswords definitely don't have the best combat stats. Their leadership is decent at, I think their base value is like 70 or 75. Let's go ahead and check. It's actually 72, but regardless, 32 melee attack, 30 melee defense, and 32 weapon strength. Definitely not as good as like Chaos Warriors or pretty much great weapons from any other faction, I suppose. But the strength of the Empire doesn't really lie in their individual troops. It's just kind of the way that they all work together. And with greatswords, for example, they're going to be supported by Volkmar the Grim, and he really makes front lines of the Empire extremely powerful. He does have the AoE effects of the Warrior Priest, so the Grand Hammer of Sigmar gives 26 melee attack. On top of that, he can buff their damage resistance by 22%. And the Grand Soulfire is actually decent, if especially against like Fate Buna type of effects. So for example, if you do pop it like right as a Fate Buna is going off, it gives you 90% magic resist, which is pretty crazy. On top of that, he gives Banishment, he does Self-Heal, and of course he does have Benediction, which gives 8 leadership to all nearby troops. So if he's riding through the front line against like Swordmasters or White Lions or things like that, he can actually help the Empire win a lot of frontline engagements that they would otherwise lose. We do have a Grey Wizard here with the Pendulum, Enfeebling Foe, and Melkots, Silver Bullets, a couple Spearmen with Shields, which are a very solid unit. They have really high melee defense and honestly, decent leadership, and they hold a long time, even against things that should chop them up pretty quick. And guys, we have the mighty Sunmaker in the back. I know there was a lot of requests last time I played the Empire for the Sunmaker. You can see it's getting caught up on the slope here a little bit. A lot of wasted ammunition there. Oh, that is so painful. Oh, that's a deep burn. But a couple of the volleys are getting over and hitting archers and swordmasters. And on top of that, we have a Hellblaster volley gun on the high ground, some spearmen defending it, and that's pretty much it. So for my opponent, he's got some reavers in the back, which our spears should be able to handle, but a huge, huge army of infantry. 2 groups of swordmasters. It looks like in total 3 white lions, the Scions of Methlon, 4 archers in the back, and Teclis. So it's going to be a very heavy infantry fight. So without further ado, let's get this game going. So right now, the greatswords are having to march up the high ground here, and it was definitely unfortunate for artillery on this map. And you can see, I didn't really anticipate this, that his archers would just be raining fire. So my Hellblaster volley gun has gotten a couple good volleys off. You can see his archers are taking quite a bit of damage down here on the low ground, just getting pounded by the Hellblaster fire, as well as the Sunmaker doing a lot of good work there. But his archers just shut down my Hellblaster volley gun, so that was incredibly brutal. But now it is time for Volkmar to come in with his heavy metal music and his greatswords. He's going to be just charging through these guys on his pimp cart and just, praising Sigmar the entire time, which is definitely pretty cool stuff. But the greatswords will obviously lose pretty hard to Swordmasters. But again, I do have magic support, which should be okay. A very solid regrowth going off from my opponent here. And now the greatsword's charging up, so the Grand Shield of Faith going on is just Hellstorm rocket batteries come and just rain fire on these archers in the background. The Grand Soulfire is going down, and honestly, the greatswords are holding pretty well with that magic support. It looks like there's going to be a fiery convocation from Teclis as my silver bullets do unload a bunch of fire. So there's just this is like one of the most chaotic beginning to a battle I've seen in a long time. There's like a fiery convocation, pendulums, Volkmar, just bullets and rockets and just all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So you can see the fiery convocation tearing up some of my spearmen there, but the greatswords are holding pretty strong for Sigmar here. You can see they got their striped pants on, and they're doing some work even against the more elite swordmasters who are, let's go ahead and check their health. They're actually really beat up right now, which is awesome. Look here, Volkmar the Grim actually terror routed some of these Swordmasters of Hoeth, and now they just rallied here, but they're going to be coming back up. So Volkmar and his greatswords doing a ton of work. Unfortunately, the Overwatch fire of the High Elves here, you can see their archers are just unleashing hell onto my silver bullets. So I try and pull back as Volkmar buffs the front line with the Grand Hammer of Sigmar. And over here, the Sunmaker did get compromised by the Illyrian Reavers. I was a little bit sloppy with my spearmen here, but they're going to be kind of poking, but the Reavers are surprisingly durable, and honestly, I couldn't, they were able to get the crew off, and I couldn't, kill them quick enough with these spears. So I do pull another group back to try and stop them, but basically both of my artillery have been shut down. My Hellblaster volley gun got shut down by the archers, and this one because of my sloppy positioning with my spearmen. So definitely make sure to stand right on top of it, guys. A big mistake there. But anyways, the silver bullets here just getting pounded by the archers, which is tough, but of all the places that the fight is going well, I was like, oh man, I'm going to get crushed on the front line because of White Lions and Swordmasters. But honestly, Volkmar and the Greatswords and even the Spearmen with Shields are holding really well, and they're winning that frontline engagement. You can see a Flock of Doom going down from Teclis right here. But Volkmar is just carrying, not for the defenses of the High Elves. He's just riding through. His Greatswords are following him. They're encouraged with his Benediction. Their leadership standing pretty damn firm, and the Greatswords are just buckling. The big issue for me being is that the balance power is in my opponent's favor. He has a ton of archers back here. It looks like in total he has 4 groups, and they're just, even against armored targets that they don't do a ton of damage against, they're still just kind of melting away. But Volkmar the Grim just kind of taking his time, methodically running over all of these guys, and He's up to 144 kills. Let's see if he gets one right here. Looks like he's just kind of yeah, 146, and he's up to 148, 149, 150, just running these guys over, which is pretty ridiculous. But the frontline engagements are all close. The greatsword's here, 73 kills. This greatsword got 65 kills, which isn't bad. This other one on the high ground, 83. So all of my Imperial state troops here are basically really paying for themselves, and they do also pop in an enfeebling foe here. But the spearmen with shields are holding strong, and I feel like they're going to be able to whittle down these forces, even though they're, superior forces. The white lines are relatively squishy without their martial prowess. They only have 24 melee defense, so even like low-tier spearmen can like poke these guys down, which is, white lines just kind of suck, unfortunately. But Volkmar the Grim is going to be riding through here, just kind of absorbing this archer fire, which is exactly what I wanted. None of these infantry can stop him. He's just, pimping it for Sigmar here, and yeah, like what are these guys called? The Swordmasters of Hoeth and the Spearmen are trying to get him, but his mass is too high. Chariots are obviously very good here, and you can see some of his buddies, the Spearmen, rushing in, which are then going to get buffed by Volkmar and be that much more effective, which is so solid. The Warrior Priest on the back, of course, shouting some battle prayers, and the Grand Soulfire is going to be going down. Granted, it's more for AoE damage because there isn't really any magic threats coming my way, but had there been like Sisters of Avalorn or something, it could have been really important. So, Balance of Power is still dead. Even I got some Spearmen in the back who are just cleaning up the White Lines. The White Lines can't even handle like Spearmen with shields. And yeah, they're going to be buckling with negative 15 leadership right there. I have a group right here. And I got a lot of stuff kind of rallying. Over in the forest, a group of 78 Spearmen who are in really good shape are able to chase off this group of White Lines here. Now, I don't think the White Lines, 45 kills compared to, I thought it said like 203 on those guys. I was like, no way, 203 kills on those. But Volkmar the Grim is rocking at 210 kills, so basically just kind of keeping this battle alive all by himself. And I do have my evil Gandalf down here. He's going to be the Grey Wizard, of course. He's going to be fighting these archers, and I'm just doing everything I can to cycle charge aggressively with Volkmar, just make sure my opponent can't get his bearings. And what's really cool is he's so archer heavy, and all of my formations have shields. So these Spearmen with shields, of course, only bronze shields, but nonetheless, they're going to get in here and just lay a royal, whooping for Sigmar all over these archers, which is going to be pretty great. So, my opponent did an outstanding job of just punishing my artillery very early in the game. My Hellblaster went down, even though it did some good damage initially to my opponent's very, kind of bunched up formation, as well as the Sunmaker, the Hellstorm Rocket Battery. Now we have a good situation because all the units that we do have left are kind of counters to what's left of my opponent's army. And honestly, the Swordmasters of Hoeth and the White Lines just got dumpstered by Volkmar. He just rode around, 223 kills, just basically did as he pleased. Now he's having just a haggard wet noodle duel over here with Teclis. Of course, Teclis is a pretty poor duelist, and Volkmar is very tanky. Despite the fact that like chariots have low single target combat stats, he's able to chase him off. So the Grand Shield of Faith is popping. He is nowhere near his healing cap most likely, so he could like just absorb. I could just stand still, let these archers waste all their ammunition, and probably heal through all of it. So some of these Swordmasters are coming back, and you see Volkmar's not going to have any of that. His heavy metal war horses are just going to be riding through. Volkmar's got arrows in his back, continuing to shout the incantations of Sigmar, and just doing the boys proud. Right now, bounce power is a little bit in my favor. I have my Shadowcaster, and it was still a pretty close game at this point, but guys, I had a secret weapon up on the high ground. The Hellblaster volley guns have come back online. They're going to march in. I think actually, did I have enough? I only had enough, I think, to man 2 of the Hellblasters here, but it doesn't matter. They're going to be shooting into the valley here, so it might take a quick moment. Looks like they're going to load it up here, but this is going to be great because I'm kind of just chasing a bunch of archers. It's a little bit annoying here, but now the Hellblaster volley guns are online, and you can see they're just going to start tearing into these archers over here. Their formation basically just being shredded by that, which is awesome. Volkmar the Grim, another Grand Soulfire bombardment, is probably going to tag a couple of groups of these archers as they try and flee, just being rained in the holy fires there, which is pretty great, but Teclis is in okay health. He probably still does have the Potion of Koroi, so I would imagine... Did my opponent not bring that? I'm not sure, but I'd imagine he could still heal up a little bit. And it looks like Teclis is going to be charging at the Hellblaster volley gun. So seeing that come in here, I do have my Shadowcaster and some of these Spearmen fighting against the White Lines here with Enfeebling Foe, of course, making them very, very weak. Now it is time. This is like the one time that the Last Samurai is actually like makes sense when I say it, but you can see the Hellblaster volley gun is just going to be blasting Teclis right in the face. I don't know if it'll kill him, but the Hellblaster volley gun shots are going to break him. Teclis has one final last stand there, takes out a cannon, but that's going to be it. So I cannot believe we were able to pull that out. It was insane. It went so badly. Like the Hellblaster, the Sunmaker did like nothing due to my own fault, of course. It still had some really cool volleys in the beginning. And the Hellblaster volley gun, unfortunately, I had to position very close to my opponent's army because of the terrain on that map. So I didn't look at the map while I was picking my army, unfortunately. But the Sons of Sigmar, man, 95, 65, 79 on those greatswords. They held and fought hard. The Spearmen with shields just did a ton of work. They were just like beating down those like lame White Lions. It was it was pretty wild. But ultimately, Volkmar the Grim was just like an MVP, and like those heavily armored chariots that have like the Crone, for example, on her Blood Altar, as well as Volkmar seem to be very good in the as the metagame currently stands. But man, he did some work, and I'm proud of the boy with his powerful mustache show. And yeah, my opponent, I mean, he definitely outplayed me in the beginning, killing my artillery, but we were really able to kind of rally there in the fourth quarter and hold, which was nuts. But yeah, I think a couple more Illyrian Reavers, maybe some I do like Dragon Princes here. Granted, Demogryph Knights and artillery can really punish them. So I think the idea of going very wide for his army was a good, a pretty good, decent approach there. But yeah, I don't know. White lines just seem like so lackluster. I mean, he probably could have even cut the white lines. Like maybe just brought one group or cut them, bring the Swordmasters and the Spearmen, and then just bring other supporting forces. I don't know. For some reason, they just underperform every time. But I mean, 93 kills isn't bad. But anyways, very well played to my opponent, Caesar007. Look forward to running into again on ladder. And hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing Volkmar the Grim just run over a bunch of filthy elves. Have an excellent night, guys, and take care.